Have ever heard about Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFTs, Web3, the whole futuristic financial revolution people won't stop talking about? Maybe you've even considered investing, or maybe you already have. Crypto was supposed to change the world, but instead, it's looking more like a get-rich-quick scheme that benefits a few while leaving everyone else in the dust. So, is crypto really the greatest scam of our time? Chapter 1. The Rise of Crypto and NFTs. Crypto didn't start as a scam. In fact, Bitcoin was created with a pretty cool idea in mind. Yes, decentralization. No banks, no middlemen, just peer-to-peer digital money. And for a while, it was. Bitcoin gave people an alternative to traditional finance, and Ethereum took it even further by allowing smart contracts, which could automate transactions. But things started getting weird when people realized they could make insane amounts of money off this stuff. Then came non-fungible tokens, which really took the insanity to a new level. Non-fungible tokens, basically digital receipts that prove ownership of an image or file, were suddenly selling for millions. People were buying pixelated cartoons, monkeys wearing hats, and literal screenshots of tweets for absurd prices. Celebrities like Paris Hilton, Logan Paul, and even Snoop Dogg jumped in, hyping it up as the next big thing. But most of these NFTs didn't really do anything. You didn't get exclusive rights, you didn't get royalties, and anyone could just right-click and save the same image. It was all about speculation, buying something today, hoping someone else would pay more for it tomorrow. And that's when the scams really started rolling in. Chapter 2. Logan Paul's CryptoZoo. Speaking of Logan Paul, let's talk about one of the most obvious crypto scams in recent history, CryptoZoo. The idea? A fun blockchain game where you could buy NFT eggs, hatch them into animals, and earn rewards. Sounds innocent enough. But here's what actually happened. The game never worked. The animals were just stock photos, and Logan Paul and his team made off with around $6.3 million from investors who thought they were buying into the next big thing. And then, radio silence. People begged for refunds. The developers claimed they were unpaid. And Logan? He just dodged the whole thing. CryptoZoo became a perfect example of what's wrong with crypto today. It's all marketing, no substance. Scammers promise the moon, people invest, and then, poof, the project disappears, leaving investors with worthless digital assets. And Logan Paul isn't the only one. There are tons of similar stories out there, from influencers launching pump and dump schemes to full-blown Ponzi schemes disguised as blockchain innovations. Chapter 3. The Web3 Illusion. Then there's Web3, which is basically crypto's attempt to pretend it's something more than just a financial casino. Web3 was marketed as a new decentralized internet where people would own their data, content, and even identities. But if you looked past the buzzwords, you'd see the same thing happening, investors throwing money into projects with no real-world use. We were told NFTs would change real estate, gaming, music, and healthcare, that you'd own digital houses, songs, and even in-game items. But none of it worked as promised. Most of these Web3 projects were built on hype, not real technology. And the few that did launch were clunky, slow, and far less efficient than traditional systems. Even top engineers and crypto insiders started calling it out. Stephen Deal, a blockchain expert, described Web3 as a marketing campaign with no real technology behind it. And he's not wrong. Chapter 4. Play-to-earn gaming. Another disaster is play-to-earn gaming, specifically Axie Infinity. If you don't know, Axie was supposed to be a game where you bought NFT creatures, battled them, and earned cryptocurrency as rewards. At its peak, it was making billions, especially in countries like the Philippines, where people were quitting their jobs to play full-time. It sounded like a dream. But here's what really happened. New players had to buy expensive NFTs just to play. This created a pyramid-like structure where older players profited only if new players kept joining. When the game's currency crashed by 99%, thousands of people lost their savings, and Axie Infinity collapsed overnight. It wasn't a game, it was a Ponzi scheme, disguised as one. And this wasn't an isolated case. Almost every play-to-earn game suffered the same fate because they weren't built on sustainable models. They were built on hype and new investors pouring in money. Chapter 5. Venture capital's role in the crypto hype. While regular people were being convinced to buy NFTs or invest in new coins, big investors like Andreessen Horowitz were pouring billions into crypto startups. Not because they believed in the tech, but because they knew they could cash out early. Venture capital firms would invest in a crypto project at the ground level, pump it up with marketing and influencer hype, and then dump their holdings as soon as regular people started buying in. It's the classic pump and dump strategy, but on a massive scale. And when these projects inevitably collapsed, the venture capital firms walked away with huge profits, while everyday investors were left with worthless tokens. Chapter 6. Who really controls crypto? Crypto was supposed to be decentralized, free from the control of banks and governments. But the truth is that it's just as centralized as traditional finance, if not worse. The biggest crypto exchanges like Binance and Coinbase are just new age banks that control the flow of money. Then what about Bitcoin mining? Mostly controlled by a handful of companies with the resources to maintain massive mining operations. And let's not forget that a small group of early adopters, aka whales, own most of the supply, meaning they can easily manipulate the market whenever they want. Decentralization sounds great in theory, but in practice, crypto is controlled by rich insiders who cash out at the expense of regular investors. People love to say, oh, they doubted the internet too. But come on, by the late 90s we had email, online shopping and search engines. Real useful stuff. Now 13 years into Bitcoin, what do we have? Scams, failed NFT projects, bankrupt exchanges. If crypto was really the future, wouldn't we have seen actual mainstream adoption by now? Could crypto survive? Maybe, but for now it's more of a financial Wild West than a revolutionary technology. If you're thinking about investing, just know that the odds are stacked against you. And if something sounds too good to be true in the crypto world, it probably is.